What a banger of a week it has been. Happy Friday, America. Thanks for tuning in right here on the Discussion Combustion Production YouTube channel. My name, Kevin Badstone, bringing the weekend in, of course, with all the fun things, all the great shows on this channel. Thanks for supporting all of our programs across the board. And now it's time to have some fun. We're kicking the weekend off right. I'm bringing in my man, Arthur. Get that old energy out of here, raw.
Yeah, let's clean the shelves. Let's dust everything. Let's get it polished. Let's do it twice, do it thrice until it's cleaned up. And physically and mentally, our mental energy is important. Let's cleanse it all and let's get ready for the weekend. Get that old week out of here.
Let's roll. Today in history on May the 16th. I know there's some juice.
May the 16th, it did have a lot of juice. So this one was a big one in Denmark. 1792, Denmark abolishes slave trade. So that's ahead of the United States, y'all. They were ahead of us on that. 1860, Chicago. And I do want to just put this out here because everyone loves Abraham Lincoln. He was a Republican, and he was actually selected as a candidate on this day in 1860. So there you go. It's weird how like the politics, how like the things have changed and how perceptions have changed. But good old Abe, who wanted to abolish slavery here in the United States, was a Republican. So go figure. 1881, the world's first electric tram enters service, and that would be in Lichterfelder near Berlin.
Lichterfelder.
Near Berlin. They were doing that in 1881. So that's pretty impressive. The first electric tram. That's even before World War I and stuff. They had
Pretty impressive.
You know? So I think that's pretty cool. This next one, I have to give it up. You know, the Italians, they've done so much for the world, other than their participation in World War II. However, Angelo Moriondo, he receives a patent for the very first espresso machine in 1884. This man is the creator of the espresso. I mean, did he make the espresso because he made the espresso machine? Could we give him credit for that beverage?
Well, he patented the machine, so I don't know. I feel like it was probably made another way, and he found a way to streamline a cup of espresso with this machine.
Yes.
1884, wouldn't have guessed that. That's going to be a good one in the trivia.
Yep, so that's a good one. Thank you, Angelo Moriondo.
Pretty cool.
For the espresso machine, even though I'm like an Americano kind of drip coffee type of guy.
I don't really drink coffee.
You know.
If it is, it's a Dunkin', cup of regular.
A cup of regular, I know. I like to get any medium whole bean and get my hands on it and use your coffee grinder to grind those grounds.
I did give you that, didn't I?
Yeah, and in the morning, I unlock the flavor, and it's so much fun. I got one more here. Actually, one more here. This one is a shout out to my brother, Eric Duchane, 1981. He was born on this day. Happy birthday, brother of mine. You know, I wish you a successful 44th year, and you got this. That's today in history. We got an awesome show lined up for you here. What's next, Kev?
We do. We got some juice coming. Yeah, once again, happy birthday to Eric. What a solid lad. He's in our NASCAR Fantasy League, so we get to have some fun with him over there.
Am I yelling in here? I feel like I'm excited on this side.
You get pretty excited. That's okay. I'll tell you what's an exciting but interesting, something I'm not going to be doing.
Okay.
Is shaving off my eyelashes. There is a new trend amongst men that they're removing their eyelashes, getting rid of them altogether. And so obviously doctors right out of the gate say there's a reason we have eyelashes, to keep dust, debris, all those kind of things out of your eyeballs. And so, you know, you have hair on your body for a reason and in different places, right? There's a purpose. Well, men are saying it's time to get rid of them. We're going old school. We're cutting them off because they want to be more masculine. Okay, that's the reason behind it. They're saying that eyelashes are feminine. Is basically the movement here. It's in different parts of the world, I guess, kind of play into this as well. But it's basically pushing old-fashioned gender roles as the idea behind it. So,
did men not have eyelashes back in the day? Like, how's that old-fashioned?
Yeah, I guess they're just trying to be as masculine as possible with their appearance. And so getting rid of the eyelashes is one of them, which I find interesting, you know, because back in these old times, I pictured, you know, men with long hair, long beards.
Yeah.
Right. And that was considered masculine, and now it seems to be going the other way.
Like, if you're a hairy dude, like, that's a masculine trait.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
And honestly, the process of removing your eyelash hair,
Seems kind of painful.
yeah, like you're not plucking that.
It seems, yeah, it's a sensitive area.
And then if you're shaving it, like how careful do you have to be, or else you're like cutting your eyelid?
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Isn't that one of the thinnest parts of skin on your body?
Or your eyelids, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very sensitive part.
And so what, are you coming in with the scissors? And
I'm
like,
not sure how they're doing it, but that's the reason why they're doing it. And doctors say it's risky, but it's social media is kind of fueling this as well. There's some, people doing it on there, and now it's to appear more masculine.
I have not heard of that one. I don't endorse this.
No, I don't either.
One weird one that I've been seeing on social media, and sorry if I'm cutting you short here.
No, you're good.
But apparently on TikTok, blacks, African Americans have accepted gingers as black people.
What does that mean?
So that means that if you are ginger, if you have red hair, if you're a ginger, then the African American community on TikTok has welcomed you into the cookout, and you are now considered black.
Okay.
I've been seeing this out there. I don't know what made me think about that right now, but that's another crazy thing on social media.
It makes absolutely no sense. Hair color having nothing to do with skin color.
Well, no, I think it has something to do with like the genes, and they're like albino blacks or something.
Yeah, I don't know enough about that to comment on that, but
Yeah.
I've known some gingers in my life, and they were far from African American.
Yeah.
As far as I understood.
Yeah.
But who knows? Things change. It's 2025.
There's no eyelashes. Gingers are black.
You can do pretty much anything you want. And so, I'm not surprised.
I'm trying to think about how it would feel to have zero eyelashes.
Well, so basically they're doing short, stubby ones. Because it's too hard, like you were just saying, it's too hard to get it close to the eyelid.
Yeah.
So the videos that are trending are guys taking scissors and like clippers and shit and getting them as close to the eyelid as they can.
Huh.
So, this is happening. It's not recommended. It's not something I would do. I don't think anyone in our circle would do it. But social media is getting wild out there. People are doing some wild things. We're going to keep this moving. Or it seems like you got something wild here.
Yeah, I could have kept going on that one, but yeah, we got it's time is of the essence. Police found a missing woman 60 years after she disappeared, and guess what? She wants to stay hidden. So Audrey Backenberg, I believe is how that's pronounced. She vanished from Wisconsin July of 1962 at the age of 20.
Wow.
Okay. So the story is that like she had a babysitter or something like that, and they went to go hitchhike, and there was a bus stop, and Audrey like disappeared around the corner of the bus and was never seen again. And they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know like why she disappeared. They were all worried about it. And so this guy, Isaac Hansen, a detective, he was responsible for looking at old cold cases, and hers was a cold case. They had stopped looking into it, and he like starts looking into some stuff and like some ancestry.com type of stuff, and he ends up finding like coming across an address, and he was kind of curious about, could this be Audrey? And so he asked the local department out there, could you just stop by? They stop by. It's actually her. She ends up giving him a call, and they talk for like 45 minutes about her story.
Okay.
And basically, she left by choice, not due to foul play. She has no regrets. She wanted to stay somewhat anonymous about like why she left. This is all third-party sources that they were kind of like coming back saying that there may have been like some kind of sexual abuse in the household or something along those lines, which I would not blame her for wanting to leave as well if you're getting mistreated like that. And, a lot of times, like, people come out and, like, they get shamed or, like, people don't believe what they're saying is true.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard a lot of the stories like that. But regardless, she had 2 small children when she left, too, and she still wants the privacy, and she has the option to reconnect whenever she wants, but one cold case solved.
Wow.
She just wanted to disappear and not be found. And now that they found her, she wants to stay anonymous.
And she never changed her name or anything.
Yeah, her energy stayed good, I guess. Like she sounded good and healthy on the phone call with the detective. But
well, I mean,
I just thought that was an interesting story.
It was 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long time to be quote unquote MIA.
Yeah.
Essentially started a new life,
Yeah.
right? Under the same name though, which is interesting.
I don't know if that was the same
It
name or
wasn't,
not,
so
or
she did
just
change her name?
or what she's doing now. But if that was her name or not, like I'm not too sure about that.
Interesting. Either way, it's a kind of happy ending, right? Everyone's kind of reunited and they figured out she's not dead. And
Yeah, so in 1962, she actually, before disappearing, she did report domestic abuse. Her husband allegedly threatened her with loaded guns. I completely passed by that bulletin point. And then she dipped, left her kids, and just started a new peaceful life.
wow.
Chilling. I think it may be like in Montana or Oklahoma or something.
Hey, she's alive and well.
So my question is, and like I don't have the answers to this, but is it a crime to like disappear yourself? Like is that breaking any laws to like just be like, I'm dipping, I'm running away, and I'm not telling anyone?
Well, most people that run away are usually criminals. They have something that they're running from.
Yeah.
In this instance, she was running from abuse. So that's a little bit different.
But yeah, is that a crime at
I
all
don't
to
think
like
so.
just dip and not tell anybody what you're doing?
I mean,
and,
unless
like,
you're in
just
the
disappear.
you can't do that in the military. You go on AWOL.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just leave.
Uh-uh.
But if you're a free, law-abiding, no warrant citizen,
Yeah.
I think you could probably dip.
Yeah, and like you don't have to tell anybody. Like there's no laws against like basically running away.
No,
I don't know how else to say it.
I mean, unless you're
Disappearing,
abandoning your children or something, then that would be a problem.
which she did, but they had the husband.
But yeah. So I think it's a case by case basis.
And also the laws changed from the 60s.
Law has changed from the 60s.
You know?
I think it just depends. What are you running from? Are you leaving something behind? Are you a wanted fugitive? If the answer is no to all those things, then no, I don't think it's a crime.
So I guess, look, we're not experts here. This is an opinion-based program, but it sounds like if you want to run away and disappear, it's not illegal. And maybe today is the weekend. Maybe this is the weekend that you do that.
Run away?
Yeah, run away.
Remember that Linkin Park song, Run Away?
Yeah.
It's a great song.
How does that one go again?
I forget, but I remember it was a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. I'll have to listen to it after.
I always like that.
All right, I'm keeping it moving. My random record this week, there was a couple to choose from, but this one was actually really cool. I would encourage folks to scroll down, click this link, and watch this video because playing cards are fun. I always like seeing card houses and like different shit you can do with cards. And so this lad ended up breaking the domino card world record. So essentially, he sets up cards straight up on their end and stacks them in a domino fashion.
They're like
to
slightly
topple over.
bent, right?
I mean, to
Barely
get them to
Yeah.
not blow over with, the wisp of a wind.
With the power of David Rush.
With the power of the Rush. This was not David Rush that did this. But so it's a team that did it. It took them a long time to get all this set up. I mean, it took them a few days.
51,000 cards.
51,725 playing cards. Think about that. There's 52 cards in a deck.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of playing cards.
10,000 decks, basically.
And then they just all topple over to break that record. See, this is not a low-hanging fruit record like David Rush talked about, right? He likes to go, those like stacking those toilet paper rolls, which you saw I attempted and failed miserably. I should share that with the public.
You didn't put that anywhere else?
No, I just sent that to you.
Oh, that was a great video. I laughed.
That was hard, first of all.
I laughed when I saw that.
I realized how hard it was immediately. Stacking toilet paper rolls. It sounds easy until you try it and try to beat the record. This is not something I'd want to attempt, right? That's tedious. Let's say you're at 48,000 cards in, you actually knock it over.
Yeah.
You can start over. Right? This takes days and days.
You got to do the dive and like try to stop the domino from continuing the domino.
That's true.
You got to dive for it. And then what if in diving for it, you create more of a domino?
The whole thing goes.
And
you got to start over. So nonetheless, it's worth taking a look at. It's pretty cool. 51,725 playing cards in domino fashion. That's this week's random record.
I hope they got some ASMR on that. Just falling down. Next, we're jumping into the Would You Rather. Last week, the Would You Rather was, would you rather have a 24-hour delay at an airport or be stuck in between a couple on a 16-hour flight that is currently breaking up and you don't have in-flight entertainment? I picked sitting in between the couple.
I took the delay.
You took the delay.
We went into some reasons why.
Yeah.
So America decided to go 80% on this. Okay, 80% favored being stuck between the couple.
What?
And only 20% are taking the delay with me.
I was not expecting that. I thought they were going to be hanging out.
People don't have time, man. They got to get to where they're going. So
Damn.
only 20% are taking the delay with
Finally,
me.
a definitive one.
80%. Yeah, this one we had a good participation on that one. So thank
Yeah.
you,
So America's
America.
with me last week. Thank you, voters. This week's Would You Rather is a simple one. You win a $100 million lottery.
Okay.
Okay. Do you let the world know or do you stay anonymous? Which one are you picking?
Well, what do you mean by let the world know? Like tell you, tell my mom, or tell
Well,
nobody?
because you know how, like, no, it's either you're televised holding the check for the local news and everybody knows,
Yeah,
or
it's hard to get.
you know you can't tell anybody at all. Completely
It's
anonymous.
super hard to do that these days, though, with the lottery because there is so much involved with it, and the media gets a hold of it, and like you're almost forced to have to let some people know. But
Well, yeah, but
in this
you have to.
scenario,
I mean, you have to let like some like the people that pay the lottery. You got to let them know.
yeah, in this scenario, I'm
You
not
know,
letting anyone know.
you're not letting anybody know.
No,
Staying
because I'm
anonymous.
still going to do good things with the money. I'm going to invest it properly. I'll give it, to where I feel it's due fit. But no, I don't need the whole world knowing that I made all that money on a lottery ticket.
Yep, I'm the same. When I won the lottery, I didn't tell anybody.
Well, you
And,
just did.
well, it hasn't happened yet.
Oh,
But however, oh yeah, I'm totally keeping it to myself.
I feel like most people are going to go that way.
And I'll still help out people. Like
That's what I'm saying.
there's going to be an obvious sign, I won't tell anyone when I won the lottery, but there'll be obvious signs. That whole meme. Like, yeah, you'll be seeing like a nice crib, my family's taken care of, like everyone's lives are elevated and the burden of being provided for or providing for is no longer there for my close friends and family. I'm staying anonymous. What are you doing? You're
Uh,
going anonymous?
I'm keeping it anonymous. Yep, I think so. I think America's probably going to go with us on that.
Yeah,
So let us know,
I
America.
think so.
Comments below or Twitter X over there at Happy Fry. The polls go up every Friday morning. Are you telling the world? Are you keeping the money and running? Keeping the money, baby.
But yeah, and I guess we could throw it on top here as a bonus. Are you taking the like full payout or
Annuity.
like the annuity
Taking the full payout.
full payout?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Because I could be dead.
that's true.
So I'll take it all.
Yeah, I like
Um,
that.
all right, we're moving on to my dumbass of the week, Art.
Who
Richard
do we got?
Christopher Smith of Miami is the dumbass of the week, and here's why. A Florida man, big shocker there, Art. Crazy story here. 3 p.m. last weekend, goes over to the Spring Lake Market and starts just stealing a bunch of shit, stuff in his
Okay.
pockets, several alcoholic beverages, and just walks out. Deputies arrive on the scene. He speeds off. Right, so now it's a pursuit. He's flying through the parking lots. Luckily, I don't think he hit anything. During the pursuit, he loops back around and holds out one of the Kettle One vodka spritzes out the window and says, "Here you go." He tried to give it to the cop that was chasing him. He's like, here's a beverage for you. Like he thought that was a good move,
Yeah.
right? Well, that didn't go over well. So finally, they were able to pin him in. He's like, "Man, I was just trying to give you guys a drink. That was my whole mission here. That was his spiel as to
Oh,
why he
okay.
committed these crimes." So obviously, then they flagged him down. They got aggravated assault on law enforcement, which is interesting. He got 2 counts of resisting arrest, DUI, and petty larceny because he stole under $500 worth of goods. Richard Christopher Smith is the dumbass of the week.
When you're 39 years old and about to turn 40, if you're doing shit like this, then I don't know if you still have time to turn it around or not. Because that's pretty bad. And like especially like thinking that that's going to be the like a good reason to get them off your back. Oh, here I was just trying to give you a drink. Well, I wouldn't have to be here if you didn't steal it in the first place. So,
Yeah, some more NPC behavior out there, Art.
oh, Richard, he acted like a total dick that day.
Total dick that day. Thought he was being clever. I was just trying to give you a drink, bruh.
It's a dickbag move.
Total dickbag move. I hope they throw the book at him with his DUI arrest. Petty larceny will probably get dropped. The battery and assault on the officer will probably not go over too well. So he'll get what's coming.
Yeah, I mean, he was, maybe he like threw the drink at him. Here, do you want this drink?
Yeah, they'll get you for assault on that. So yeah, dumbass of the week, Richard Christopher Smith. Happy Friday America shout out for you being a dumbass.
Congratulations. Hopefully if you YouTube his name or Google his name, that article pops up, and then Happy Friday America is the second thing that pops up underneath his name.
Dumbass of the week.
Yeah, dumbass of the week.
That he is. Art, you got something fun for us here. What do we got with robots?
I don't know if this is fun, if this is fear mongering, what's going on, but I have an interesting twist at the end of this article. I'll tell you that much right now. So I will go ahead and say here that this one's a bit clickbaity, the way that it was written, the way that the title comes out. However, I'm going to go through this.
Okay.
So, violent humanoid robot snaps attacking factory workers in a wild video. Went full Terminator. Okay, so there's the clickbait article.
That would definitely pull me in.
Yeah, so it's not 100% like that. However,
damn it,
I'll just describe this. So I watched this video. If you're online and doom scroll like me an hour a day, then you've probably seen this. But like, it's this robot that is basically like when you take an engine out of a car, they have that hoist.
Yeah.
So it's like a robot that's on a hoist, and it's kind of like standing there. It's obviously being held up, being manufactured, being worked on, and then all of a sudden the robot starts tweaking and like throwing its arms around and stuff and like moving around and like kind of swinging near the people. Right. So there's like these two guys in there and they're like, oh shit. They're like trying to dodge it. And like it's on this hoist, like kind of. And so I feel like that kind of helped its movement. It wasn't intentionally trying to go after people. Right. But they say the robot hanging from a crane starts violently flailing its arms and legs near two factory workers. Chaos erupts as the bot lunges. It didn't lunge. It was like on a crane type of thing. So this is pretty full about this. Went full Terminator. Sarah Connor was right. This is why you don't trust robotic surgeons. It's like going into all this different stuff. Some of this is valid, right? Like let's say that we did have an AI type of robot that was doing surgery on a human. Well, when you are making and doing like these kind of manufacturer stuff, there's actuators within the systems that can malfunction. And so what's interesting about this whole article and how it's read is I like to use Chat GPT to bulletize and like make my articles easier to read on this show. And so I asked Chat after it summarized this article, and I was like, hey, Chat GPT, what do you think about the article that I just had you summarize for me? And then so Chat GPT goes into this stuff like how, it's looked like it was mild. It was like mid installation or testing, that it's probably an actuator apart and it glitched, possibly a feedback loop, which when a feedback loop can happen, then it like starts doing the feedback. And then like its arms are supposed to move. And so they say that could be a failsafe or panic but either way, like Chat was like talking about how this seems like just like a simple malfunction that they're blowing up. But interesting article nonetheless, because it is a crazy video and it does look like this robot's trying to pummel some guys.
I'm gonna have to watch it when we're done.
And then Chat's take on it of how it's so clickbaity and stuff was really interesting. So I saw that. The Terminator scares, all the AI scares right now. It fits in with everything.
It does. No, absolutely it does. People are going to watch this shit. I've been saying Terminator for years. I love that movie. And, we've been seeing snippets of it start to come together with Atlas and some of these other, Boston Dynamics and some of the shit that they're building now. And the Tesla robots, like, we're going to see some things like this.
For sure.
We're just scraping the surface here. But the clickbaitiness of it is interesting because that's people just write headlines and shit to get you to watch it.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've seen the one where it's like they were doing these warehouse. Maybe I already talked about this during the pod, but like they had these warehouse working robots that were just working nonstop, and one just straight up collapses after like 24 hours of continuous labor. Like it doesn't matter if it's a man-made machine or not.
It's gonna fail.
Nothing is perfect. Things will have variation, and if anything has any sense of self-being, like an AI, then eventually it like didn't. This was like 2 years ago. Like they had like these two very advanced AIs, and the AI created its own language so they could communicate with each other, and then they like shut it down because they were like, no, we can't. We don't even know how to encrypt or like know what it's talking about or what the AIs are talking about with each other. So like, we're playing God a little bit with some of this stuff.
It's like I said, we're just scraping the surface. We got a lot of interesting things that are going to come, especially when people can start purchasing this for in-home use.
Yeah, like the Tesla at-home robots.
Yeah, that's like the beginning of it. Once those things start going haywire and there's malfunctions and shit with it.
Mhm.
I mean, just think with the lithium batteries alone catching fire in the house or whatever, there's going to be a whole slew of problems from these AI robots.
Yeah. I mean, at what point do we realize that we were just fine with fax machines?
I don't
Like
think
the world ran with fax machines just fine.
and typewriters.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going back, buddy.
No, we're not going back. We're not going back to
A
that.
wise man did once say that World War III or IV would be fought with sticks and stones.
Yes.
So take what you will from that. From a robot to a naked man. You know, I talked about the manic masturbator in Seattle.
Yeah.
Now we have the naked walker of Crowley County, Arkansas.
Okay.
And this guy's out here taking nude walks nightly, you know, dick hanging, just walking about, man. He's like,
Does he have shoes on?
he's got shoes on.
Okay,
But-
so he's not completely naked.
I mean, that's the only thing he's wearing.
I mean, technically,
Actually,
he's
you know
not
what?
naked.
I don't know if he's wearing shoes. I
Yeah.
can't confirm on that.
Okay,
But because they showed a picture of it on this article, he's all blurred out, obviously.
but they had his feet blurred out too?
I don't know. We're going to have to look at it. Here, let me pull it up.
Because you know me, like, I'm all about the sneakers and stuff. Like,
Now he's not wearing shoes.
oh, no shoes. Okay, so he is truly fully naked.
He's out there. The Crowley County naked walker of Arkansas
Okay.
is walking through, you know, a pretty homey neighborhood, if you will. There's kids playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're doing the hopscotch on the sidewalk. That's even a thing anymore because I'm fucking old. But they're outdoors doing their family activities. And this guy's walking around like right at 6:30 at night. People are sitting down to supper.
The sun's still up.
He's out there just walking about, man. You know, he's not bothering anybody. He's just walking naked through the neighborhood, and kids are like, what's going on? You know, they're getting alarmed by it. But there's a couple of like weird loopholes with the whole nudity laws. So the town has come together now in Crowley County to try to basically add an amendment to say you can't walk naked through neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Like almost rezoning it because, like, you know, you can have nudist colonies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so they're trying to, because right now there's a loophole. There's really nothing that he's illegally doing wrong, but he's morally, you know, traumatizing the neighborhood.
Is he doing this like intentionally to call out like these government loopholes, or maybe he's just like,
I don't know if he's got a
wants
motive
to get
behind it.
naked?
Maybe he's got a monstrous Johnson and he's like, check this out.
Yeah.
You know, he's a shower, not a grower.
You know,
It's a possibility.
that's interesting.
That's one theory. But, you know, basically, it's, you know, the school bus comes through there. You know, like I said, there's an elementary school close by. So, like, there's a zoning law with that, right? You can't, like, even urinating near an elementary school is considered indecent exposure and can even have to go into a sex registry. So he's walking a thin line here. And so the community's brought enough attention to it now. You know, they interviewed some people in the area. They got grandkids there that are seeing this. You know, there's a school a couple blocks down the street, like I said. And this guy's just walking around, man, not giving a rat's ass about the community or anything about.
Yeah. You know, you wonder why. Like, okay, we have the freedom to do what we want to do, and that's amazing.
I love freedom, but people do like to push that to like shit like this.
It's like you're going too far with
Jerking
it.
off in Seattle.
Yeah, it's too far.
It's too much.
It's going too far with it.
You got to respect the freedom.
You know, and also just having respect for like common courtesy of others too is important.
If you lived out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
no one would give a shit because no one's seeing it.
Yeah.
You know, it's no different. I mean, you know, if you're having a loud backyard barbecue with the music blaring and stuff and you're bothering the neighbors, I mean, I guess there's more grounds there to argue
I mean,
that.
how late are you running the music? Did you let your neighbors know in advance?
You know what I mean, though? There's always
You
be
know?
that one that's like, keep it down.
Yeah, but did you not let them know in advance?
I don't know what the scenario is, but, you know,
Yeah.
it's common courtesy, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, 10 p.m. we're turning the shit off. You know, we're not going to walk naked through the neighborhood when we're outdoors, you know, as a family. There's just certain things you don't do. And so the Crowley County naked walker, the case is open on this one.
Yeah, he needs to go ahead and disappear himself and walk around naked out in a rural area.
Real rural.
Real rural area.
Or just put some shorts on, like, you know.
Yeah.
Just put some boxers on. Like, there's,
Or
you
at
know.
least put on some shoes.
Well, I mean.
Is that another loophole?
No, I see with the shoes, look, Cody Lundeen walks around barefoot everywhere he goes.
Yeah, but he's not naked.
No.
So if, like, you're wearing technically socks and everything else is gone, like, am I technically naked?
I think they say naked when your genitalia is exposed. That's
Yeah.
considered nudity.
Your private parts.
Yes.
So you can have socks on and still be naked.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Art. I mean, come on.
Okay.
You could have a tank top on, assless chaps, but if your Johnson's hanging out, then you're technically naked.
So you could be clothed. You could be clothed, but still be indecent.
Yeah, it's no different than a woman exposing her breasts in public.
It's like
The
indecent,
loophole there with the breastfeeding, but that's different.
in indecent clothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Cover
know,
it up.
if you want to breastfeed in public, that's fine, but just like put a blanket over yourself.
I don't have a problem with it.
I mean,
It's
it's
it's it
distracting.
yeah, but it's natural. Like it's that's what mothering
I
is.
was selling a lady a car once, and she was whipping out no blanket, and her husband's sitting there, and I'm just trying to sell a car to these people, and it's like I've had people breastfeed on the show floor before, but not like they had a blanket on. It was extremely distracting,
Yeah, it's going to be a little distracting, but it is what it is. It's
and that's fine, and that's fine. But if the guy's not hurting anybody,
yeah.
what's wrong with okay, so this is one thing that's odd about America is we will like play all this violence and stuff and like show all this violent stuff, but then like we're afraid of boobs and penises.
Yeah, it's a fine line. I mean, I certainly don't want to see that in my neighborhood.
No, I don't want to see it either,
I'm
but
not.
like it's just the human body.
It is.
So
There's a
even
time and a place for it, though.
even my family that was
I don't want to see people shitting on the street.
well, but it happens
I
sometimes.
shit on the street once.
It happens.
Yeah, Colfax crapper here.
You know what I'm saying? Like my
I
family,
still I still went off. Like I tried to be a little bit more.
you
I'm
know.
not just shitting right in the fucking sidewalk.
I mean, yeah, maybe he should take a more discreet path.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
like in other areas in the world, they wouldn't even care about this
No, but
because
even
like it's just the human body.
other tribes, they still like put like a piece of cloth over themselves. They like tie it on with some yarn.
Yeah, but like when did it become such a stigma like that you can't like show what you are?
Probably like I would think maybe like the year maybe 900 ish.
It depends on the culture and society because there's definitely areas where it's like you just be naked and like we're all like unless if you're doing something weird like the Seattle guy.
Yeah, that was too far.
Like that's a little weird. I don't know. I'm on the fence about this guy walking around naked now. I don't know how I feel about this.
You're on team Crowley County Naked Walker.
I don't know how I feel about this one. I can't definitively say that it should be illegal, but I don't know. I'm on the fence.
We'll have to keep an eye on what happens here as the Crowley County comes together to try to make this a legal activity.
Yeah,
To see how that turns about. But yeah, interesting conversation there. Great way to
juicy episode.
Great way to bring it into the weekend. Hopefully, no naked walking going on in your neighborhood. Maybe there is. I mean, maybe there's a nudist colony not far from where I grew up.
And maybe he just needs someone to be like, "Hey, nice cock," just one time. Maybe that's what he's looking for.
And then he just goes back to his house.
Yeah,
and
he's
never
like,
walks
"Damn,"
again.
he's like, "Damn, I did what I needed to do there."
I don't know what's going on with him. I really don't.
I don't know. It could be a dude or a girl that says it too.
Yeah.
It's all fun. Next, what's fun is the weekend. We're getting into it. I could have talked like for 10 to 15 minutes on each one of these articles, but this
We got
weekend,
to keep it moving, buddy.
I'm going to go ahead and suggest that you do something new. Explore your state. Go find a new park. Go find a new bar to have a beer at. Go find a new restaurant. Try a new entree. Try something new this weekend.
I like that. It's good to get something fresh going. The no phone challenge. I've done this a few times in the last few years. It doesn't have to be a 24-hour. I think that's the true phone challenge.
Mhm.
Shut it off. Emergency contacts allowed to break through, of course. There's still emergencies can happen. Make it a 12-hour phone challenge. I mean, do a phone challenge. Challenge yourself, whether it's no social media, no phone calls, no texting, none of that stuff.
So you couldn't like put your phone down and then jump on Discord on the computer.
You could. I mean, you're not on your phone.
But it's still like a communicate. I could get on Facebook on the computer.
You can, but that's not on your phone. The point, it's a no phone challenge.
No
So
phone challenge.
causes you to have to do other things like use those sources on a different device.
Okay.
Just keep away from texting and just not using the phone.
Do you let people know?
No, absolutely not.
You don't let them know.
Nope.
No. Not even like
No, because it's not long enough for it to be concerning.
Yeah.
Right.
Just 24-hour no phone challenge.
I did the 24-hour. I can't remember when that was.
I think it was like 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, it was somewhere in there, and it was like Saturday morning to Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Like 9 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Yeah.
So that way you can get up Sunday, you're back to business.
I like that.
That's the way to do it.
Just take Saturday off.
Just Saturday to Sunday, no phone.
Okay.
So that's something you could do this weekend. I know it was a big reset for me. I enjoyed it.
Well, you know what? I might just flip a coin on if I'm going to do that or not. And that's something else you could do this weekend. If you can't decide if you want Chili's or Applebee's for dinner, then you can flip a coin on it. Heads is go, tails is no.
Yeah, but in that scenario, you would have to assign Applebee's or Chili's as heads.
Well, obviously, heads is going to be Chili's.
Well, how do you? But it could have been Applebee's for heads.
Whatever you want to do, just flip a coin on it, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be good fun. If you don't know what you're gonna, if you know you want to do something, or maybe you're like, I'm on the fence about going out tonight or not, so
The coin is fun.
yeah, you flip the coin. I think I'll flip the coin on if I'm going to do the no phone challenge on Saturday.
I like that. I'll be curious to hear the result on that. If you really want to double up the challenge, you can go no phone and no food for 24 hours and do a fast. No phone.
Are you going to do that?
No.
Shit.
But I could do a 24-hour fast. I usually do 14 to 16 hours every day.
Yeah. So
So
you're already in the money
I
spot.
just need to push it another 10 hours, which I could probably do. But I think it's good to get a fast in every now and again.
It is.
And why not do it when you're not on your phone at the same time and really double that challenge up?
And get out into nature, try out a new park while you're doing that, and then, search it on your computer and remember by memory. You could write down the directions on a piece of paper.
Oh, you can go old school like MapQuest fucking Atlas days.
Yeah.
Remember the road atlases?
Yeah.
Those are badass.
Yeah, man. It's fun stuff. Fun life. This was a fun episode. I could have definitely chopped it up a lot more. We got a great weekend ahead of us. So thank you so much for tuning in here on the Discussion Combustion YouTube channel. Check us out on Happy Friday USA on Instagram and Facebook. Happy Fry on X. That's where you could also do the Twitter. No, that's where you could also do the Would You Rather. And hit us up with an email, happyfridayamerica@gmail.com. What's up? Let's go.